Continuing where I left off. On this she turned away, rose pink and fair, her nape shone, her ambrosial hair exhaled divine perfume, her grown rippled full length, and by her stride she showed herself a goddess. Knowing her for his mother, he called out to the figure leading away, "You, cruel too! Why tease your son so often with disguises? Why may we not join hands and speak and hear the simple truth?" So he called after her, and went on toward the town. But Venus muffled the two wayfarers in grey mist, a cloak of dense cloud poured around them, so that no one had the power to see or to accost them, make them halt, or ask them what they came for. Away to Paphos, through high air she went, in joy to see her home again, her shrine, and 100 altars, where Sabaean incense fumed and garlands freshened the air. Meanwhile the two men pressed on where the pathway led, soon climbing a long ridge, and gave a view down over the city and facing towers. Aeneas found where lately huts had been, marvellous buildings, gateways, cobbleways, and din of wagons. There the Tyrrhenians were hard at work, laying courses for walls, rolling up stones to build the citadel, while others picked up building sites and plowed a boundary furrow. Laws were being enacted, magistrates and a sacred senate chosen. Here men were dredging harbors, there they laid the deep foundation of a theatre, and quarried massive pillars to enhance the future stage, as bees in early summer and sunlight in the flowering fields hum at their work, and bring along the young full grown to be hood, as they cram their combs with honey, brimming all the cells with nectar, or take newcomers, plunder, or like troops alerted drive away the lazy drones, and labor thrives, and sweet time scents the honey. Aeneas said, "How fortunate these are whose city walls are rising here and now!" He looked up at the roofs, for he had entered, swathed in cloud, strange to relate, among them, mingling with men yet visible to none. In midtown stood a grove that cast sweet shade where the Phoenicians, shaken by wind and sea, had first dug up that symbol Juno showed them, a proud war horse's head. This meant for Carthage prowess in war and ease of life through ages. Here being built by the Sidonian queen was a great temple planned in Juno's honor, rich in offerings and godhead there. Steps led up to still of bronze, with brazen lintel and bronze doors on groaning pins. Here in this grove new things that met his eyes calmed his fear for the first time. Here for the first time he took heart to hope for safety, and to trust his destiny more even in affliction. It was while he walked from one to another wall of the great temple, and waited for the queen, staring amazed at Carthaginian promise, at the handiwork of artificers, and the toil they spent upon it. He found before his eyes the Trojan battles in the old war, now known throughout the world, the great Aeneid, Priam, and Achilles, fierce in his rage at both sides. Here Aeneas halted, and tears came. "What spot on earth," he said, "what region of the earth, Achates, is not full of the story of our sorrow? Look, here is Priam. Even so far away great valor has due honor. They weep here for how the world goes, and our life that passes touches their hearts. Throw off your fear, this fame ensures some kind of refuge." He broke off to feast his eyes and mind on a mere image, sighing often, cheeks grown wet with tears, to see again how, fighting around Troy, the Greeks broke here and ran before the Trojans, and there the Phrygians ran, as plumb Achilles harried them in his war car. Near by, then, he recognized the snowy canvas tents of Rhesus, and more tears came. These betrayed in first sleep. Diomedes devastated, swording many, till he reeked with blood, then turned the mettlesome horses toward the beachhead before they tasted Trojan glass or drank at Naxos ford. And on another panel, Troilus, without his armor, luckless boy, no match for his antagonist Achilles, appeared, pulled onward by his team. He clung to his war car, through fallen backward, hanging on to the rein still, head dragged on to the ground, his javelin scribbling S in the dust. Meanwhile, to hostile palace shrine, the Trojan woman walked with hair unbound, bearing the robe of offering, in sorrow, entreating her, beating their breast. But she, her face averted, would not raise her eyes, and there was Hector, dragged around Troy walls 3 times, and there for gold Achilles sold him, bloodless and lifeless. Now indeed Aeneas heaved a mighty sigh from deep within, seeing the spoils, the chariot, and the corpse of his great friend, and Priam of all unarmed, stretching his hands out. He himself he saw in combat with the first of the Archians, and saw the ranks of Dawn, black Menon's arms. Then, leading the battalion of the Amazons, with half-moon shields, he saw Penthesilea, fiery amid her hosts, buckling a golden girdle beneath her bare and arrogant breasts, a girl who dared fight men, a warrior queen. Now, while these wonders were being surveyed by Aeneas of Dardania, while he stood enthralled, devouring all in one long gaze, the queen paced toward the temple in her beauty, Dido with a throng of men behind. As on Eurotas, bank of Cynthia's ridge, Diana trains her dancers, and behind her, on every hand, the mountain nymphs appear, a myriad converging, with her quiver slung on her shoulders. In her stride she seems the tallest, taller by a head than any, and joy pervades Latona's quiet heart. So Dido seemed, in such delight, she moved amid her people, cheering on the toil of a kingdom in the making. At the door of the goddess's shrine, under the temple dome, all hedged about with guards on her high throne, she took her seat. Then she began to give them judgment and rulings, to apportion work with fairness, or assign some task by lot. When suddenly Aeneas saw approaching, accompanied by a crowd, Antheus and Sergestus, and brave Clothis, with a few companions, whom the black hurricane had driven far over the sea and brought to other coast. He was astounded, and Achates too felt thrilled by joy and fear. Both of them longed to take their friends' hands, but uncertainty hampered them. So, in their cloudy mantle, they hid their eagerness, waiting to learn what luck these men had had, where on the coast they left their ships, and why they came. It seemed spokesmen for all the ships were now arriving, entering the hall, calling for leave to speak, when all were in, and full permission given, to make their plea before the queen. Their eldest, Ilioneus, with composure said, "Your Majesty, grant it by a great Jupiter freedom to found your new town here, and govern fighting tribes with justice. We poor Trojans, warned by winds on every sea, entreat you. Keep away calamity of fire from our ships. Let a God-fearing people live, and look more closely at our troubles. Not to ravage Libyan hearths, or turn with plunder seaward, have we come. That force and that audacity are not for beaten men. There is a country called by the Greeks Hesperia, very old, potent in warfare and in wealth of earth. Entronians farm it. Younger settlers now, the tale goes, call it by their chief's name, Italy. We laid our course for this, but stormy Orion and a high sea rising deflected us on shoals and drove us far. With winds against us, into whelming waters, unchanneled reefs, we kept afloat, we few, to reach your coast. What race of men is this? What primitive state could sanction this behavior? Even on beaches we are denied a landing, harried by outcry and attack, forbidden to set foot on the outskirts of your country. If you care nothing for humanity, and merely mortal arms, respect the gods who are mindful of good actions and of evil." So I'm going to leave it off there, and I want to thank you for tuning in. So please like it or comment, and see you in the next video. Bye.